ShelbyKay here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another day of YouTober. Today I am back with another vet tech related video for you guys. If any of you guys have been following me since my vet tech videos, you will know that one of my most popular videos that I've ever uploaded was things they don't tell you about being a vet tech. And it did really well. It was just something that I really wanted to inform people about what the realities of working in the vet world are, and maybe things that you aren't necessarily taught if you are looking to go into the veterinary field. So today I thought I would do a part 2 and talk a little bit more about some of the things that maybe aren't as well known or aren't as well talked about when it comes to being a vet tech. And you don't necessarily have to be a technician or interested in veterinary medicine to get something out of this video. If nothing else, it might just help you get a little more understanding of what vet techs have to go through. And not just vet techs, any veterinary profession, but to kind of, open your guys' eyes to, what they have to deal with on a daily basis and why it is such a difficult career. So let's go ahead and jump right into my list. The first thing that I wanted to share with you guys that maybe isn't so obvious is that you will get thrown around. And I mean this in a physical sense. You are going to be restraining, 100-pound plus dogs on a daily basis, and they're not always going to be the most cooperative. A lot of times they're going to jump around, they're going to try to run, they are going to resist being restrained, and so you are going to get thrown around so much. I had so many bruises, and it made my arm sore. It was a very, very physical job, and yeah. Just expect to, use a lot of your upper body strength and just, to be prepared to be kind of tossed around by animals that are not necessarily the most cooperative. Kind of following along the same lines, number 2 is that personal space does not exist in this career. A lot of times it will take more than one person to restrain an animal, so you will be literally side by side touching another person. Sometimes you have to get into really, really weird and uncomfortable positions where, maybe someone's behind is in your face, or, just whatever you can do to restrain an animal safely, you do it. So sometimes you get in really awkward positions, you're going to be very close together. Yeah, personal space really doesn't exist in veterinary medicine. Just kind of a heads up on that. Number 3 is that this is a career where you will be constantly learning. This is not a career where, you learn everything that you need to learn and then that's it. You just kind of go into your job and do your thing and you never have to learn anything again. It is a continuous, ongoing career where you're constantly learning. Technology in medicine is always advancing. This also goes for human medicine, where it's just a constant learning curve. Things are always advancing, things are always being discovered, and so you are constantly having to stay on your toes. And this is actually one of the reasons that as a vet tech you will be required to do what's called CE, or continuing education, where you will have to get a certain amount of hours of doing continuing education, whether that means you're going to seminars or doing webinars or whatever that means. You will be required to get a certain amount of hours every year to continue to keep your license, because it is such a changing and growing profession. You need to stay up to date with what the latest medicine is in order to do your best to help these animals and these families. Not only that, but you will be referring to material all the time. Every doctor I've worked for, they were having to pull out books, they were having to pull out, their notes from veterinary school to reference, different things. As I said, it's just a continuing learning thing, and there's just so much information that you're not going to be able to memorize every single thing. And obviously, the cases for every single patient are going to be different. Even if it's the same condition, it's going to be different for every single patient. So you just have to continuously keep on your toes and continuously, educate yourself and kind of determine what is the best route for that particular patient. This one may be a little bit of an obvious one, but I do just want to throw it out there, and that you are going to be encountering gross things every single day. Obviously, you're going to see a lot of blood and bodily fluids, if that's something that, maybe isn't, or that maybe you get really squeamish about, or that you don't really enjoy. This might not be the profession for you. And then obviously, there's going to be a lot of cleaning up after dogs pooping and peeing. You'll deal with diarrhea dogs on a regular basis, vomiting dogs on a regular basis. But you also deal with things like abscesses, where essentially it's just a big fluidy infection that a lot of times you have to drain, and it usually really smells and it's just really gross. Infected ears are one of the worst smells that you could ever have. If a dog has a really, really, really bad infection in their ear, you can tell their ears stink. It's disgusting. And then of course dealing with like anal glands and things like that, you're just going to be encountering a lot of really gross things. So if you have a really weak stomach, you may want to rethink it, or just kind of expose yourself to it before you really go into the profession, to maybe try to, you know, strengthen your queasiness and things like that. Because yeah, you're just going to deal with gross things on a daily basis. That's just part of the job. And then number 5 is that, and I think I've kind of touched on this a little bit in the last video, but I just wanted to kind of bring it up again here, is that you are going to be yelled at by clients regularly. There will be clients that you're just never going to please, and they're going to come in and think that they need every little thing done, and you know that you are a miracle worker and you can just suddenly cure their pet, even though they're denying every sort of like blood work and lab work and diagnostics. They just want you to give them a magical pill or a magical shot and make their animal feel better. So you're going to get yelled at a lot, where you know, they're going to be like, well, you guys haven't done anything for my pet, they're still sick, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll try to explain, well, you denied the blood work and all this kind of thing. You're going to get yelled at a lot about that. You're going to get yelled at a lot about pricing and like, why is this so expensive? And, you know, you guys are just heartless and in it for the money and blah, blah, blah. For those of you who aren't in veterinary medicine, I understand veterinary care is very, very expensive. But what I think a lot of people don't understand is that human medicine is just as expensive, but insurance covers a lot of that stuff, so you don't see that side. Medical equipment is very expensive. Any sort of supplies for medical is very, very expensive. They have to pay their, you know, their technicians and their employees. Like, it's just, there's a lot of overhead that goes into it, and so it is expensive, and it has to be expensive. Otherwise, you know, these businesses can't stay open. And as I said, human medicine is exactly the same. You know, it is expensive, but as I said, a lot of times most people have insurance, so they don't see how expensive it actually is. So I just wanted to throw that out there for people who maybe didn't really understand that, or who haven't really thought about it that way. But yeah, you're gonna get yelled at almost on a daily basis about pricing. It's very frustrating, and it's gonna make you feel it's going to get you really worked up sometimes, but you just have to try to let it roll off your back. And then my 6th and final thing that maybe you don't know about vet med is that there are so many different branches of vet med that you could go into. You don't necessarily have to go into private practice, whether that be for small animals or large animals. There are so many different branches, so many different specialties. You could go into cardiology, you could go into like zoo animals, go into wildlife, you could go into just being like a lab technician. You could go into, you know, just taking care of like lab animals. You can be, you know, work in the military. There are just so many different options out there for any person, anything that you could look into. There's a lot of different avenues. So if private practice isn't for you, then you can find something else. So those are all of the things that I'm gonna go over today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe it was a little eye-opening and, you know, educational for you guys, and kind of showed you guys some things that maybe you didn't really think about, whether you are interested in going into vet med, or if you're just watching this video because it came up on your subscription feed, whatever, and you're not really, you know, aware of the veterinary world as much. I just really hope that you guys got something out of this video. If you guys are not already subscribed, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you guys are interested in any of my other vet tech related videos, I will go ahead and post a playlist down in the description below. Also be sure to check out my Instagram and my TikTok, which will also be linked down below. As always, I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.